Let's move on from fear to hope, because amid all the anxiety around immigration, layoff, and visas, one Indian origin businessman reminded the entire America what generosity can look like. At the graduation ceremony at North Carolina State University's Wilson College of Textiles, students expected what? Speeches, applause, celebration. But what they did not expect was financial freedom. Indian American philanthropist Mr. Anil Kochar, he suddenly announced that he would pay off the final year students' loan of 176 graduates of 2025-26 academic year. In fact, the reaction inside that hall, that was emotional chaos. Cheers erupted. Students cried openly. Some covered their faces in disbelief. Because in America, student debt, it's not just a financial issue. It shapes the entire lives. Millions of young Americans delay buying homes, starting families, or launching businesses because of education loan. Student debt in the US, it has crossed trillions of dollars nationally. So for many graduates, debt becomes the first major burden of adulthood. And that is why Mr. Kochar's announcement, it resonated so deeply. And the story becomes even more emotional when you understand the history behind it. Mr. Kochar dedicated the gift to his father, Prakash Chand Kochar, who came from Punjab to study at the same institution in 1946. Can you think about the symbolism here? One immigrant generation arrived searching for opportunities. Decade later, the next generation became successful enough to remove financial burden for hundreds of American students. Well, ladies and gentlemen, proudly saying this is the side of Indian diaspora that often gets ignored during political immigration debates. Indian origin communities, they are now deeply embedded into American success story. Not just in technology though, but in medicine, academia, and business leadership. And in a time when immigrants are increasingly discussed through the language of restrictions and suspicion, moments like this reshape public perception, and that too very powerfully, because generosity speaks louder than politics. Now, sometimes one sentence can reopen centuries of history, right? Well, for nearly 3 decades, the H-1B visa represented one of the most powerful symbols of middle-class ambition in India. Families invested lakhs, sometimes crores, into engineering college, coding boot camps, and American universities, believing that there was a clear pathway ahead. Study hard, go into tech, move to America, build a better future. But now that entire equation, it may be changing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trump administration has proposed increasing minimum H-1B salary requirement for nearly 30% across multiple wage levels. Now, officially, if we talk about, then Washington says this is about protecting American workers and updating salary benchmarks that were designed almost 20 years ago. But the deeper political message that's clear, America is becoming more selective about the kind of foreign workers it wants. Now, under that particular proposal, entry-level H-1B salaries could rise from about $73,000 to nearly $98,000 annually. Level 2 salaries could move beyond $123,000. In fact, in major cities like New York, some salary requirements would cross about $130,000. Now imagine what this means for the employers. Now for giant tech companies like Google or Microsoft, paying higher salaries, it may still be manageable. But for smaller startups and mid-sized consulting firms, sponsoring foreign workers could suddenly become extremely expensive. So that means company may reduce the H-1B hiring dramatically, specifically for fresh graduates and junior engineers. And that is why Indians are watching this very nervously. Indians make up nearly 71% of H-1B recipients in America. No other nationality depends on this visa system at the same scale. It's just Indians. This is not just about immigration anymore. It is about the future of Indian global mobility itself. Now, for years, India's IT industry built enormous business models around supplying skilled talent to the American market. Entire outsourcing ecosystem grew around this relationship. But now, AI automation, rising political pressure, and visa restrictions are all colliding at the same time. Experts fear that younger Indian applicants may suffer the most here. Companies may increasingly hire only highly specialized workers in AI, cybersecurity, or advanced engineering whose expertise justifies the premium salary here. And politically, the atmosphere in America it is changing too fast. Mr. Trump's support base has repeatedly argued that H-1B visas reduce opportunity for the local workers. In fact, similar reforms attempted during Trump's first terms were blocked legally, and this time, the administration appears to be building more structured case through public consultation and labor market argument. Even American companies are nervous. Industry estimates suggest that the new wage rule could cost employer an additional $18 billion in the first year alone, with annual costs potentially rising towards $43 billion as existing H-1B visas come up for renewal under the new salary standards. So tonight, thousands of Indian students and professionals are asking one difficult question. Is America still the land of opportunities for the foreign talent, or is the door slowly becoming narrower and narrower?